Okay. So find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. So we are in the transition, no matter where you live, between summer and fall. The autumnal equinox is actually this weekend. Monday is considered the first full day of fall. It's also a new moon today, which is another kind of energetic shift, right? And so when we're at these seasonal junctures, when we're moving from one season to another, especially this change, we really want to tend to the body and the nervous system. And so when we're moving into what is called Vata season, and so Vata is the organization of the qualities of the elements of ether or space, like the space around you, and air element. And so those are light, cold, dry, mobile. They're not heavy, they're not warm, they're not stable. And so we need to build stability into our bodies and our minds through our practices, through our foods. And so our practice today will be based on this concept of trying to really ground ourselves into the earth. So find your comfortable seat. Let's take the heels of the hands into the upper thighs. We're pressing down, leaning forward. It's familiar. One of the things we like to do when this seasonal change is on us is to stay with the familiar. This is not the time to make big changes. I was talking to my husband yesterday. It's not tattoo season because he was talking about getting a tattoo. And I'm like, you gotta wait till the spring, buddy. There's too much instability right now. It'll hurt more. It'll make you feel more anxious. It's not good. No bueno. All right, and then we'll take it side to side. So you're pressing into one thigh, leaning away, turning to look over that shoulder, back through center, over to the other side. You just go back and forth as it feels good to you. You make it as big or as small as feels useful. Gorgeous. And then coming back to neutral a couple of times, we'll run the heels of the hands from the hip towards the knee, working our way around the thigh. Breathing. Yes, always breathing. Softening the jaw, the teeth, the tongue, preparing ourselves for our practice. And then taking the hands to the side ribs, we're lifting ourselves up out of the bowl of the pelvis. If it doesn't feel good to have the thumb around the back body, that's fine. You can have the full palm of the hand around the front body, but we're lifting ourselves up nice and tall, and then we're doing a little turning from side to side, a little turning from side to side. Breathing, breathing. Yes. How far can you turn? How far is freely available to you? Mhm. Nice. Coming back to neutral now. Let's inhale the arms up, straight up towards the sky today. Lift the gaze, reach through all 10 fingernails, get very long. And then as you exhale, float the hands to land on your lap. Bring the chin parallel to the earth. And if you feel comfortable and safe to do it, go ahead and close the eyes. Close the eyes. Going inside. Noticing how is it now? How is it to be internal? Can you set yourself up so that you feel stable and balanced? Right side, left side, front, back, feeling into the earth beneath you. So Ayurveda is brilliant in its work in balancing the body. And so we always want to balance with the opposite. We're in this season of lightness, of mobility, of instability. We want to build in more density, more rhythm, more stability. And so feel that earth quality underneath you as you lift through the crown of the head, the tailbone descends. Lift and spread the collarbones, arm bones hanging heavy at the shoulder socket. Relax the palms of the hands. Nice. Balance the skull on top of the spine. And you might make little movements side to side, up and down, maybe even turning the head a little side to side as well. Just discovering all the different planes of movement and allowing that to inform what balance feels like. Chin's dipping slightly lower today than parallel to help excavate the back of the neck. And then relax the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. Relax the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose. Relax the eyes in their sockets. And then go to the space between the eyebrows. Relax any tension that you find there and allow the eyebrows to spread apart from one another. And then smooth out the skin of the forehead. Relax the skin at the temples and soften the inner ears. And then find the breath. Discover that you're still breathing. Find the inhalation, find the exhalation, be with the breath. Let everything else fall away. Let everything else fall away. Long, steady inhalation, complete exhalation. Don't let the mind take off with you. Stay with the breath. Nice. Taking the hands together in front of the heart, palm against palm, fingers elongated. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones. We're preparing for a sound. I'm inviting you to chant the sound of Om with me 3 times, and then we'll invocate for those that know it. Go ahead, exhale, fully let go of all the breath you currently have, and then inhale fully to begin. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, let your chin come towards your chest. Tune in internally just for a moment. Notice, is there some little inclination towards what you need for your practice this morning? I want you to follow any intuition, any little voice that pops up. And then exhale, release the hands to the lap. On your next inhalation, you can start to flutter the eyelids open, taking in form and color and shape. And then as you feel ready, you can raise the gaze. Hands come to the outer knees. If you're cross-legged, help the knees up and extend the legs. We're actually going to come to standing here in a moment. So take a few breaths and just address the body. Is there anything you need from your body before we come to standing? And sometimes I even like to take the feet to the floor and swish the knees a little side to side. Nice. Sometimes I like to go through a little squat and see how that feels. Maybe a little forward bend would feel good. Whatever you need to do between here and standing. And then when you feel ready to stand, come on up. Find your way up. Clear your mat if you have any trip or fall hazards. So we're going to start with goat pose and the Dasha Chalana. And if you've never done that with me before, it hasn't been a while, or it's been a while, never fear. We're going to go through it together. And so goat pose is basically like a standing meditation pose. And it's one of the ways we can ground ourselves really efficiently. And so there's a couple ways to do it, but the traditional way to do it is to take your feet a little wider than your hips, so about shoulders distance, right? And to turn the toes in slightly. So it's as if you were skiing and you wanted to slow down, right? So they're not turned in a ton, they're just turned in slightly. And I'm really pressing the outer foot into the earth. Now, everyone has a sweet spot for this. And if it starts hurting your knees, right, if you have knee pain during this or at any point during this whole pose, then you can take the alternate pose, which is to take just a small first position with the feet, okay? But if you can, the feet are about shoulders distance apart, toes are turned slightly towards each other. And then if you are female or identify with the female persuasion, you're going to put the right hand on your lower abdomen. I'm not mirroring you. It's the right hand on your lower abdomen. If you're male or identify with the male persuasion, you would put the left hand on your lower abdomen. And then whatever hand you have left goes on top, and you tuck the top thumb underneath the bottom palm. So you're basically holding your lower abdomen. And I'm going to turn to the side so you can see I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back. I'm directly over my plumb line. We're going to float the elbows forward like you're trying to hollow out your armpit. And then you're going to sink a little bit. And so I'm just bending the knees just a smidge. Start out in the shallow end of the pool, right? We can go all the way down, and I'll give you an invitation to do that eventually. But for now, just stay in the shallow end of the pool. So you're just bending your knees a smidge, and you'll see a lot starts to happen when you do that. Think about pressing the big toe ball mound and the outer heel of each foot down evenly. Relax your tailbone. Lift up through the crown of your head. Relax your belly. Nice. Don't lean forward. Don't lean back. It's like you've slid down a wall. Lift and spread the collarbones. Nice. Keep the head balanced on top of the spine. And then a couple of subtle actions. So you're not going to drop your chin, but if you can see out a window, I want you to look at the earth. And if you can't see out the window, I want you to look where your wall and your floor meet. But don't drop your chin, just drop your eyes. So whatever you can see, if you can see out a window directly in front of you, not to the side. If you need to turn to the side so you can look out a window, that's fine too. But I don't want you to drop your chin to get there. And then the other subtle action I want you to take is take the tip of your tongue to the space right behind the upper front teeth. And then relax the root of the tongue and the sides of your tongue down the throat. It's called Jiva Bandha, or tongue lock. All right, let's go through it again. So big toe ball mound, outer heels pressing, knees are soft, belly is relaxed, tailbone is relaxed, glute muscles are relaxed. We're reaching through the crown of the head, getting very tall, floating the elbows forward, lifting the sternum. Nice. Chin is mostly parallel to the floor. Might be down just a smidge to keep the back of the neck long. And then the eyes are at the horizon line or at the earth. And the tip of the tongue is resting at the back of the upper front teeth. The sides of the tongue and the root of the tongue are relaxed down the throat. The throat is relaxed. The jaw is relaxed. Breathe here. See if you can relax the thighs a little more. Don't lose contact with the outer heel or the big toe mound. Keep breathing. Relax across the top of the shoulders. Refresh the lift of the sternum. Nice. And then anybody who wants to, you can bend the knees till the ankles stop you, but don't lean forward, don't lean back. But if you're like, ooh, that's too rich for my blood, then come up a little bit. That's fine. right? We don't want to overdo, we don't want to underdo, we want to find where we can sustain the pose. Just breathing here. Lift and spread the collarbones. Float the elbows forward. Big toe ball mound to outer heel. Relax the toes. Just another few moments. We're not staying forever. I know it might feel like that now. All right, inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, press the hands down. So that's goat pose, or Atyasana is what it's called in Sanskrit. And it's incredibly grounding. And maybe you felt that. Maybe you felt your feet getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And now we're going to do what's called the Dasha Chalana, or the 10 turnings, which is a joint manipulation series. And so I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me, but it starts with the feet. So if you're male, you're going to stand on your left foot. If you're female, or excuse me, if you're male, you're going to stand on your right foot. If you're female, you're going to stand on your left foot. The other foot goes back. You come to the tip of the toes, and we're going to start to circle the foot around. And notice I'm going over the toes and under the toes, over the toes and under the toes. If balance is an issue, you could take your hands to your hips, but if you can, you let your arms dangle beside you. Going around and around. One of the ways to think about this is that you're letting the thigh bones swing around in the hip socket. Now, this is going to seem weird, but I want you to change directions. I promise there's another direction, but it'll feel less intuitive. It'll feel a little harder, a little strange. But really make sure you're going over the toes, under the toes, over the toes, under the toes. Lifting up nice and tall out of the standing leg. You're titrating how much or how little weight goes into the toes. Beautiful. Now that foot's a standing foot. I'm just turning around so you can see my active foot. Now I'm standing on the leg that was just working. Second foot goes back, and we start again. Just circling around. Over the toes, under the toes. And it doesn't matter which direction you start with because we're going to do both. So just do whatever feels intuitive. Notice if you're holding the breath. Notice if the jaw is trying to hold you up. Gorgeous. On your next exhale, go the other direction. Lifting up nice and tall. Don't sink into the standing side. Nice full inhale. Complete exhale. Yes. And then both feet are standing feet, much to your delight. Have them directly underneath the hips. Have them parallel. And now you're going to imagine you have a chalkboard in front of you and chalk on the tip of your nose. You're going to make small circles on that invisible chalkboard with the tip of your nose. Now, don't close the eyes. These are just very, very small circles. We're breathing. And if dizziness is ever an issue, you just keep your eyes fixated on one spot. Nice. And then let's go the other direction. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Bringing the head to stillness. Now we go in with the shoulders. Now, I don't want you to do these big dramatic shoulder rolls with the elbows involved. Instead, I want you to do tiny, tiny little shoulder rolls with the arms hanging by your sides. Little tiny mini muffin shoulder rolls is what one of my students used to call them. Right? So forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Breathing. Yes, so good. Nice. And then we'll go the other direction. So they go back, up, forward, and down. It feels a little weird. Don't get big. These are little. Let the arms dangle. There are no elbows here. Back, up, forward, and down. Back, up, forward, and down. Yes, nice. Breathing. Yes, gorgeous. Nice. And then let's do one more to the back just to reset. So they go up, back, down. Beautiful. Now you feel like you've reset. Okay. From here, we're going to take what's called Charlie's Angels Mudra. I did not make it up. And so you're going to interlace your fingers, and then your index fingers are going to point straight up towards the sky. So you've got like the finger gun, like Charlie's Angels, right? And then you're going to bring your elbows together if you can at heart height. Here, I'll turn to the side so you can see. And then we're making a figure 8 with the hands, right? Kind of see a little bit better here. And the elbows are kind of pistoning up and down next to each other as you do this, right? And then once you get the hang of it, you can fold those index fingers in as well. The gaze is in between the wrists where you can see that little space that keeps appearing and disappearing. Try to relax across the tops of the shoulders. Don't hold the breath. Make sure your weight hasn't poured back into your heel bones. Make sure it's balanced on the feet. And then on an exhalation, switch directions. I promise you there's another one. Don't think about it too much. Just do whatever feels instinctual. Keep breathing, keep going. Could you speed it up just a little bit? Loose the wrists, relax the shoulders, and exhale, release. Shake the hands out like you have water on them. Woo! And then find a block. Find a block and take your thin block between your upper thighs so that the long edge of the block is parallel to the floor. Okay, this is going to keep our hips stable. This is going to keep our hips honest, so our hips won't go side to side. Make sure your feet are still parallel. You might have to look down. I just noticed my right foot was turned off to the right. Don't let it happen. And I want you to pin that block from the outer thigh. And then we're going to start. I don't know if you've ever seen the Karate Kid movie where they're spinning the drum, right? We're going to do that with our upper body. So you're going to turn the upper body from side to side, but the hips stay right where they are. And I'm doing a little tap with my arm, with my hand. So in the front, the hand taps right underneath the collarbone. In the back, the hand taps at the kidney band. And so you're like a little drum turning from side to side. And the arms are really loosey-goosey before they rein themselves in at the last moment to do the tap. My hips stay absolutely stable. Really, the twist is coming from the thoracic spine. You might also feel it in the kidney band. The head goes with. Don't try to keep the head forward. Nice, a couple more. Beautiful. And then don't just stop abruptly. Instead, act like a helicopter that's coming to a stop. And so you just let everything slow down, and finally it's done. Take the block out from between your thighs. You're going to place that in front of you and another block in front of you for later, right? We're just placing our props. But then we're going to take our feet a little wider than hips distance and we're going to start to circle the hips. Now I'm not bending my knees. Instead of imagining I'm in a barrel of something very tasty and I'm trying to scrape out the last bits of it with my pelvis, right? So the tailbone is drawing this kind of exaggerated circle on the floor, but the knees stay straight. Right? The arms just kind of swirl around. We're not trying to control anything except for the hips. Gorgeous. And then on an exhalation, change direction. So now we're going the other way with our hips. Yes, nice. Right? Really scraping out the barrel. Couple more in this direction so we're even on both sides. Nice. And then coming back to neutral one more time. All right, so I'm taking my big toes to touch, just moving my block so you can see. And then I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see. We're going to bend the knees and place our hands on the knees. And so we've got two options. So if you don't want to go very deep, your thumbs are going to be towards each other and you're going to keep your arms straight like so, okay? If you want to go deeper, your fingers go towards each other and you let your elbows bend out to the sides of the room and you get pretty deep. And here's this one. So we're just going to take the knees around in a circle. Now you have to be able to keep all 10 toes on the floor the whole time. So if your toes are starting to come off the floor or you feel unstable, you just make the circles smaller and slower. Otherwise, you really go for it. You really get in there, make those circles. Ideally, the knees are touching. Ideally, there's no pain. Beautiful. On an exhalation, change directions. Yes, good job. I know. It's said that if you do just the goat pose and Dasha Chalana in the morning, if that's all you have time for, then you have done enough for your day. Don't worry, we'll do the rest of the class, but these are so good. All right, coming to stand up. Last thing in this sequence is the sarpa, or the serpent, right? Where we move our spine like the snake. It's very much like doing cat and cow from a standing position. And especially if you haven't done it before or it's been a while, watch once. I've got my feet hips distance apart. I'm just turning to the side so you can see. So to start, we bend the knees, lift the tailbone, lift the heart, lift the chin. Here we are in our cow pose if I was on all fours. I'm going to inhale here as I sink in. Then as I exhale, I go towards cat pose, navel to spine. I let the chin come towards the chest as I roll up to standing. Then as I inhale, I bend the knees. I lead with the heart, cow pose. Exhale, navel to spine, roll it up to standing. Right? So this way we're kind of waving the spine. You can make it as big or as small as you want to. Right? This is still sarpa, even though it's very little. Others like to make it quite big. Let the breath flow. Arms are just dangling. Don't try to do anything with the arms. Let's do two more. Nice. Last one. When you're complete, stand up, close the eyes. Breathe. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. And then opening the eyes, we're going to do a little breath work. It's a modified sun breath. So we're going to make what's called a blade hand with our hands, which means you're going to glue your four fingers together. And like you're going to paddle water, you cup them slightly. And then the thumb bends at the knuckle and gets stuck to the outer palm of the hand. So it looks something like this, right? So you're making kind of like you're going to swim. And then you're taking the hands to the outer hip. Arms are extended fully, palms of the hands are forward. I'm going to inhale the arms up towards the sky. When they get to shoulder height, you start to drop the back of the skull. And then middle fingers come to touch over your head. So you're basically making like an arch over your head. Then as you exhale, you take the hands down in front of you, following with your eyes and your head. And then you go again, inhaling up. Middle fingers touch above your head. Exhaling, taking it down, following with your eyes and your head. You go at your pace and you let the breath dictate the pace. So if you need to speed up or slow down the arms because the breath is going faster or slower, that's what you do. Right? And it just becomes this very smooth movement. You're gathering up all the excess energy and you're grounding it down into the earth. Using a full inhalation and a full exhalation. Nice. Go a few more times at your breath pace. We're letting the subtle body guide the physical gross body. Not gross as in yucky, but gross as in substantial. Nice. A few more just like that.
Then on the next one, next time your hands are overhead, you're actually going to bring the palms of the hands together. And this time as you exhale, you soften the knees and you roll down towards your forward bend. And if everything worked out according to plan, your two tall blocks are there ready to catch you. Right? You've got your two toe blocks underneath your hands. If for a moment you want to bend the elbows, let the head go. Absolutely. You might shake the head a little no, a little yes, a little maybe. Beautiful. And then come to Ardha Uttanasana. Come to half standing forward bend. So the arms are straight, the hands are on the blocks. I want you to locate your right foot. Shouldn't be too hard. And I want you to feel the big toe ball mound and outer heel pressing. Soften both knees. Yep. Beautiful. Then from here, you're going to ignore your left leg for now. But I want you to think of lifting your right hip straight up towards the sky. Like you're trying to lift your right sits bone away from your right heel bone. The leg will straighten as a consequence. Beautiful. Left knee is soft. And then on your exhale, just as we did a moment ago, you're going to bend the elbows and bow down any amount. Yes, beautiful. And then walk your blocks diagonally off to the left corner of the room. But don't lose anything in that right leg. Don't lose anything in that right heel. Big toe ball mound, outer heel pressing, toes are extended. Left knee is still soft. It's like you're simultaneously lifting the right hip towards the sky and hooking the outer right hip towards the wall behind you. So you're moving diagonally. Nice. And then walk the blocks back to neutral. Soften both knees. Take a little pause. Beautiful. And then press into the blocks. Come back up halfway. Keep the right knee soft. Locate your left foot. Big toe ball mound, outer heel pressing. Lift the sits bone away from the back of the heel. Let that leg straighten fully. Hug the muscles to the bone. Nice. And then bend your elbows again. Bow down any amount. Let the head be loose. And then diagonally walk the blocks off to the right. Don't let the hip go with you. In your mind, you're hooking that left hip back, back, back. Breathing into the left side rib. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. Beautiful. Nice. Another full inhale, complete exhale. And then walking the blocks back to neutral. Soften both knees. Let yourself kind of hang out. Let the torso meet the thighs if it wants to. Maybe you nod the head a little yes, a little no. We've got one more variation, but give yourself a chance to soften. Nice. Now we're going to press through both feet. So bring yourself up to halfway. Big toe ball mound, outer heel, both feet. Think of lifting the sits bones up towards the sky, dropping the heels down towards the earth. Then any amount, bending the elbows. Keep the blocks for now. Bending the elbows, bowing down. Just seeing what's available. And then without letting the hips go forward, I want you to walk the blocks forward as far as they'll go. Nice. Yes, so you're getting super long from the fingertip to the hip crease. Imagine you've got a thumb in each hip crease, hooking your hips back, back, back. If we were working in partners, we would put the strap around the upper thigh. Gorgeous. Breathing here, navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. Nice. And then walk the blocks in. Beautiful. Soften the knees, roll up from the base of the spine, come to standing. If there's any dizziness on arrival, hands come to the thighs. Give yourself a little chance to equilibrate. Otherwise, you come all the way up. And now we will do dramatic shoulder rolls, right? We were very restrained before. Now we can get the elbows involved. Very dramatic shoulder rolls. Yes. Beautiful. And then we're coming down onto the earth. I know you thought we'd never be back on the floor, but we're coming down onto the earth and we're going to set up for a chest opener, which is going to feel pretty good after that work on our feet. So once you're down here, go ahead, find your blanket, roll it up nice and tight. Take it horizontally across your mat. Let's find a block for the head. Flat block. Now this should feel really nice after everything we've done, getting into that thoracic spine. So lining up the bottom tip of the shoulder blade with the blanket, do any adjusting that needs to happen. Maybe you need to pick up and replace things, right? There's no wrong answer here. And then arms go out in a T shape, backs of the hands are on the floor. And then if the low back is okay, you extend the legs. If the low back's feeling challenged at all, you keep the knees bent, turn the big toes towards each other, and let the knees fall into each other like a house of cards. Everyone draws the pubic bone towards the belly button. Everyone turns the lower frontal ribs down towards the earth, right? We don't want to overextend the back. So these two actions help us to bring integrity to the lower spine. Take a few breaths here. Just allow yourself to be relaxed. Maybe the feet are falling out to the side. If the legs are extended, that's fine. And then let's build in more of a chest opener. So if your legs are extended, reach through the inner heels, turn the big toes towards each other. Beautiful. Still pubic bone moving towards belly button. And then lift the arms up towards the sky. Take opposite hand to opposite forearm, and then either take the forearms clear over the crown of the head or to the forehead if getting over the head doesn't feel good. Still taming those lower frontal ribs down, but also drawing the chin towards the chest to elongate the back of the neck. Breathing here. Long, full, steady inhalation, complete, steady exhalation. How is it in the mouth? How is it in the eyes? And then make a mental note which forearm is on top. On your next inhalation, reach the arms behind you, palms of the hands face each other. If you run into furniture like I did, they might be at an angle. Otherwise, they're straight behind. And then on your exhale, we recross the arms now with the opposite forearm on top. Beautiful. Check in, pubic bone to belly button, lower frontal ribs, chin, what needs to be adjusted. Breathing here. Gorgeous. Soften the throat. Nice. And then on your next exhalation, release the arms out and down to the sides. Everyone bends the knees, bringing the feet to the floor as wide as the yoga mat. And then we're letting the knees and head go in opposition, and you make this into whatever you need it to be. So you might be moving up and down on your blanket. You might be really lingering on one side or the other. You might be trying to get your upper back all worked out on this blanket like I am. What do you need from this shape? Take it. Right? That's the invitation, is to really be here. Nice. If you've done something to one side, make sure you do it to the other side. And then let's roll all the way to one side, using the hands to help ourselves up, help ourselves out. You can put the blanket to the side, but I want you to keep your block with you because we're going to put it underneath the pelvis. So once you've cleared your mat, come back down to lay on your back body in active rest. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor, hips distance apart and parallel. We're going to put our flat block horizontally underneath our pelvis, underneath our sacrum, so we can work on the lower abdominal wall and leg extension. So press the feet down, inhale, exhale, lift the pelvis, slide your block horizontal. That means the long edges of the block are parallel to the short edges of your mat. It should be directly underneath your sacrum, which means your sacrum is laying flat, which means it's right behind the back of your hips. It's not in the lumbar spine. It's not too close to the tailbone. It's right in that sweet spot where you feel like your pelvis can rest evenly. And then I want you to press your elbows into the earth to draw your shoulder blades towards each other and then towards your back pockets if you had any. Then we've got a couple of options for the arms. So if you feel like you need more support with this next sequence, you're going to hold on to the sides of the mat and pull it towards your feet. Otherwise, you can press the elbows or just rest the arms. I want you to very strongly now draw your pubic bone towards your belly button. You're going to feel the lower abdominal wall engage. Now, what can be helpful if you're not holding on to the yoga mat is to take your hands right at your hip points and have your fingers extended so you've got a little bumper system built in. Because at no point during this next sequence do I want you to bring your thigh bone any closer to you than your hip bone. Okay, so we're not bringing the knee into the chest. We're only going to pick it up so that it's directly over the hip. Okay, so the first sequence is easy. We're going to start from the floor, and it's a little bit like marching in place. You're going to inhale here, exhale, lift the right foot off the floor, bringing the thigh perpendicular to the earth, and then you inhale to put it down. Exhale, pick up the left foot, left thigh perpendicular to the floor. Inhale, put it down. So you're just going back and forth. The foot is now, for now, fully landing on the ground. It's very civilized. The hand can be really helpful because as soon as you bring the thigh bone closer than the hip socket, you're using different abdominal muscles. If you're like, okay, Veronica, this is super easy. I want something more challenging. I've got you, fam. You're just going to take your thighs up. So now your thighs start at that perpendicular to the floor position, parallel to the wall. And then now we're just dipping one set of toes down at a time. Navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. Keep breathing. I like to exhale as I dip the toe and inhale to lift the knee. Exhale down, inhale up. I know it seems a little backwards, but in my body, I feel like the most effort is on the way down because I'm really trying to control. I'm not landing my toes. I'm just barely dipping the toes down. It's like there's a little pool of water and you're just barely dipping your toes into the water. Now, if you're like, geez, this still feels too easy, then I want you to flex your feet and go to the heel bone. Flex your feet and go to the heel bone. So now you're just barely tapping one heel, then the other. Keep breathing. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. And then if you're like, wow, it still feels so easy, then you can do both legs dipping the toes. Or you can do both legs dipping the heels. Or I like to alternate, dipping the toes, dipping the heels, dipping the toes, dipping the heels, navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button, right? Yes, you'll feel it in the thighs, but we're trying to get the core to do the work, right? So that navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button is super important. Keep breathing. Couple more with whatever variation you're doing. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. Beautiful. Do one more if you're doing both sides, or do one more either side, or do two more with both legs together. Nice. And then let the knees come towards your chest to relax. Big toes towards each other, knees go slightly apart from each other, lengthen the back of the neck, breathe here. Soften the eyes, soften the throat. Nice. So that bent knee variation is still available if anybody wants to work with it. Otherwise, I've got a straight leg variation that I'd like you to try. So now the legs are straight up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Outer upper arms rolling down, down, down. Reach through the legs if you can. But if flexibility is an issue, you can always keep a soft bend in the knees. So we're only going to move on the exhalation with this one. So I want you to inhale, lengthen your right leg. Exhale, lower it to parallel to the floor. Inhale to re-lengthen. Exhale, navel to spine, lift the leg back up towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen the left leg. Exhale, lower it down to parallel. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to lift it back up. So you're going back and forth, trying to only move on the exhalation. Right? So there's an added challenge holding that leg parallel for just a moment as you inhale. Keep navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. I know I'm a broken record, but that's what helps you control from the lower abdomen instead of the hip flexor. Yes. And then anyone who wants to could do both legs together. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. Stay with it just a few more. And then either do one more each leg or two more both legs together. Gorgeous. And then bend the knees, feet come to the floor, press the floor down, lift the hips, roll down one vertebra at a time. After you take the block out, I think I forgot to say that. And then exhale, hug the knees into your chest, rock a little side to side. So good. So good. Hands on the bent knees. Let's steer the knees around in a circle, a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Beautiful. And then we're going to come to sit. So roll up either one side or roll up to sit. Going to take our blanket underneath our hips to sit on. We're going to start in Dandasana, staff pose. Some of you will definitely want a strap nearby. So just have one nearby just in case. And then we're going to come to sit with the legs extended. I'm going to back up a smidge so you don't lose me. Beautiful. So the legs are extended, staff pose. Hoping everything we just did has opened our legs enough where this feels like it's possible. Maybe you do a couple of ironings out like I'm doing here. And then we're going to Janu Shirshasana, which translates to head of knee pose. It's a little bit of a misnomer because we're actually going to try and go past the knee. So it's very important. Listen carefully. I want you to let your right foot turn out to the right slightly. Relax the right leg. Use your right hand to come into that right knee and hook the knee out to the right. Then reach down, catch the ankle, and draw that foot up the left thigh as close as you can get it to the pelvis, right? So eventually the heel bone goes into the groin. Now, we want this right knee to be firmly grounded on the floor. If it is hovering in space, that might be an indication that you either need another blanket or to put a block underneath it. We don't want the limb hanging in space. The thigh should feel very firm on the earth. Okay. That some of you are going to have your strap nearby. Indeed, if you think your legs are very tight, forward bends are hard for you,
you might already have a strap just kind of on the floor around your left foot. Beautiful. Fingertips on either side of the left leg. I want you to steer your heart towards those left toes. And then like a cat, we're going to paw the floor towards us to lift and spread the frontal plane of the body. Then inhale the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, come up, out, and over. If you can grab your foot easily, great. If you can't grab your foot, that's where we're going to take the strap, right? The strap is the great arm equalizer. Beautiful. Now, wherever you've ended up, I want you to inhale up part way. I want you to lift your heart away from your belly button. Then on the exhale, elbows bend out to the side as you bow down any amount. Keep pressing the back of that left leg into the earth. We're leaning forward. We're simultaneously, and this is very similar to what we did when we were doing our forward bends, we want the feeling to be like that outer left hip is being hooked back towards the wall behind us. We're grounding that femur bone directly into the acetabulum, into the hip socket. Gorgeous. Another full breath here. Complete inhale, complete exhale. Nice. And then let go of the foot. Let go of the strap. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Then exhale, navel to spine. Have that help you come up. Turn the palms away from each other and press the atmosphere down. Then scoop up that right knee. We're going to step the right foot over the left thigh. I have to move my left foot a little to the right. That's okay. Then we're interlacing the hands on the front of that right shin, climbing up nice and tall. Nice. Keep your left hand there. Swim the right hand back. Then we're just going to see what happens if we can get a little deeper. We're going to inhale the left arm up towards the sky. Exhale. See if you can hook the elbow around the knee, or some of you can dive the elbow on the other side of the knee. Nice. Wherever you are, you're pressing through the sits bones, lifting through the crown of the head. The whole right sole of foot is on the earth. The left sole of foot's acting like it's pressing into a wall. Indeed, sometimes we do this pose with that left foot touching the wall. Shoulder blades move down the back, sternum lifts, collarbones are broad. Inhaling to get long, exhaling to turn. Gorgeous. One more inhale to get long. Now on the exhale, we're coming all the way around. So now that left hand comes behind you, right arm comes inside the right knee. It's a little counter twist. It should feel good. And then exhale to release. Use the hands to help you unwind. Come back to neutral, back to Dandasana. Maybe a couple more ironings out. And then we'll go right to the other side. So the left hand comes inside the left knee. We hook the knee out to the side. Then we reach down to catch the ankle and we draw that foot as far up the right leg as we can get it. Now, if the left thigh is not grounded, we use a prop. You bring the floor to you. Yeah. Then I'm reaching through that right heel. The right toes are spreading. Fingertips on either side of the right leg. I need to steer my heart towards my foot. Gorgeous. And then I'm pawing the floor towards me. Look at how much length you can get here. Be a cat. Gorgeous. Then inhaling the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, come up, out, and over. Catching the foot, taking the strap. What do you need to make contact there? Yes, nice. Then once you have contact, inhale up halfway. Move the heart up and away from the belly button. Then as you exhale, bend the elbows out to the side. Bow down any amount. The idea is that eventually your head rests on the shin. I know, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in this lifetime, maybe the next one. We don't know. And then just as we did on the first side, the action is as if you're hooking that right hip back towards the wall behind you. Gorgeous. Breathing here.
All right, on your next inhalation, let go of your foot, reach your arms forward. On the exhale, navel to spine, come back up, turn the palms away, press the world down, ground the energy, and then hand underneath the left knee, help it up, step it over. If you need to move your right leg to the left, that's fine. Interlace the hands on the front of the shin. Draw yourself up nice and tall, shoulder blades down. And then left hand goes behind you. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, either hook or dive. Yes, sits bones planted. Reach through the crown of the head. Shoulder blades are down the back. Couple of breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling. Nice. One more inhale. Then on the exhale, we come all the way around. Right hand goes behind. Left arm comes inside the left leg. Give it a little press. You get a nice spreading through the low back. And then exhale to release. Beautifully done. Let's find our way down for the Shavasana. We've got just a few moments here. I'd like us just to lie down for a minute or two. We've twisted, we've wrung out the body. Now we can relax. Have the head on the blanket if you can. If you need a little support behind the backs of the thighs, those blocks can work wonders. Arms resting, eyes closed, open the mouth wide, stick the tongue out, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then draw the tongue back into the mouth. Let just the lips come back to touch. Let yourself go here. Let yourself rest here. It's now the dawning of the 8:30 hour. If you have time to stay in Shavasana for longer, please feel free to stay where you are. Others, start to deepen the breath and bring movement back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And then when you feel ready, draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. And very slowly, very mindfully roll to the right side. Pause there on your right side. Feel the earth beneath you. And then head's the last to arrive. Eyes remain closed. Use the hands to push yourself back up to a seated position. Tailbone descending, crown of head ascending. Let's take the hands together in front of the heart, palm against palm, fingers elongated, lifting the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broadening the collarbones. And then on an exhalation, let the chin move forward, let the chin move down, bowing to the seat of the soul, bowing to that divine inner wellspring of kindness, compassion, patience, and joy. The light in me is deeply honored by your light, grateful for your practice, and so humbled by your presence. And in case no one's told you yet today, I love you, and I'm convinced of your capacity to continue crafting
a life worth living. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Good job, everyone. Really well done.